power at the center of the ghost realm? The Dragonblood Martial Emperor, Xiao, and Yun all turned their gazes toward Mu Yingying in unison upon hearing this. Although Mu Yingying's strength may not match Xiaoyan's at the moment, what Xiao didn't know was that this once mischievous character had, after earning the recognition of Xun'er and Kailin, worked diligently in both martial and scholarly fields. Her efforts were so profound that even Xun'er and Kailin found it hard to catch up. In Mu Yingying's own words, all of this was done simply to be worthy of Xiao. After all, Xiaoyan's rise in both strength and status had been incredibly fast. As one of the mistresses of the Endless Fire territory, she naturally had to enhance her own abilities to match this title, otherwise, how could she ever be worthy of the ruler of the Endless Fire territory? The number of powerful individuals at the center of the Ghost Realm is vast. Although their quality doesn't compare to the Immortal Realm, they excel due to the sheer number of disciples. Aside from the main and deputy realm lords, only the 10 great Ghost Kings possess strength at the second reincarnation stage or higher. After finishing her words, Mu Yingying surprisingly walked over to Feng Yanghao's side, gently crouched down, and enveloped her palm with sacred flame fire, suddenly sweeping it across his eyes. It seemed as if she was capturing something. Look, this is the evidence. Mu Yingying gently released her grip, revealing a deep black flower resting in her palm. The black flower was inscribed with intricate and mysterious patterns, and as the others observed, it seemed to make their very souls quiver faintly. The moment Mu Yingying let go, the black flower slowly bloomed and withered. The entire process took no more than the blink of an eye, and the flower was so small in size, constructed entirely of eerie, ominous ghostly qi, that it was nearly undetectable to those without a keen eye. Xiao, this is the soul-devouring talisman. It was given to me by Feng Domain Lord when he helped cover my escape. Now, it's back in its rightful place. However, what is this? The Dragonblood Martial Emperor passed the soul-devouring talisman to Xiao, his face filled with confusion, clearly having never seen such an object before. Does it relate to soul power? Xiao muttered, his thoughts racing. Is this the cause of their loss of sanity? Yun and Xiao exchanged a glance, seemingly finding some faint traces on the talisman, but they couldn't immediately confirm its nature. This item, I once saw it mentioned in an ancient text. It seems to be the infamous soul control flower from the center of the ghost realm. Mu Yingying's expression turned serious as she looked at the confused individuals before her. Their actions of indifference and greedy gazes made her shake her head. This item can only be controlled by reincarnation-level experts from the center of the ghost realm. Once it's released, unless the target's soul power reaches the spirit-wandering realm, they are doomed for sure. Once someone is affected by this, they will be controlled and turned into a mindless zombie, driven to do another's bidding. Mu Yingying's face grew grave, clearly puzzled as to why she was seeing such a legendary item from the Ghost Realm Center in the headquarters of the soul-devouring domain. Could it be that these extraterritorial evil clan forces had taken it from the Ghost Realm's experts? But without the Ghost Realm's experts' approval, even if they had forcefully taken it, they likely wouldn't use such an item. So, does this mean we can't trust the people at the center of the Ghost Realm now? After a brief pause, Xiaoyan's expression grew serious. This is just my guess. I don't know for sure. Maybe I'm wrong. Hearing Xiaoyan's sudden understanding of her implied words, Mu Yingying felt warmth in her heart, but still shook her head. Such matters were of great consequence. A wrong judgment could lead to irreparable outcomes. After all, the overall power of the Ghost Realm Center was unmatched by any domain within the Ghost Realm. I believe you. Xiao smiled slightly, looking at Mu Yingying's ever-changing expression. Yun nodded in agreement, also supporting Mu Yingying's judgment. This matter is known only to the four of us. Do not tell anyone else. By the way, Yingying, is there any way to resolve this? Xiao nodded solemnly and then inquired again. The current state of the 7 individuals before him was beyond his ability to solve, so he could only seek alternative solutions. According to ancient records, only a medicinal herb called netherworld grass can resolve this. Otherwise, there's no other way. Mu Yingying pouted slightly. Then leave it to me. It seems that the one-day time limit the evil spider demon spider mentioned was just to scare us. However, their situation is also far from optimistic. 6 seniors, Brother Fong. I'm afraid I'll have to trouble you all for a while. With my soul power and sacred flame, I can protect you for some time. After several failed attempts, there was still no way to dispel the eerie force controlling them. Xiao Yin could only wave his hand, using his vast soul power to temporarily suppress the 7 of them, storing them in his sea of souls. But now, the Ghost Realm is full of crises in various regions, and this journey is unlikely to be an easy one. Oh, isn't this Lord Xiao of the Endless Fire Domain? We just received a battle report from the front line. Lord Realm has ordered me to lead the troops of the Soul-Devouring Domain to launch an attack on the 7th evil god. The group had just finished dealing with the matters of the main hall when a gust of cold, ominous energy appeared, flickering like a ghost. This? Mu Yingying and Yun Yun simultaneously turned their gaze toward Xiao Yin, waiting for his next move. Who are you? Xiao Yin furrowed his brow and did not immediately agree. After all, the battle at the Soul-Devouring Domain's headquarters had just ended, and this aura clearly lingered at the peak of the 3rd reincarnation stage, eerie and strange, causing Xiao Yin to hesitate. I am one of the 10 Ghost Kings of the Ghost Realm, Ghost Concubine Yi. I was originally ordered by the Lord of the Realm to lead the army to support the Soul-Devouring Domain, but I was ambushed by a semi-evil god midway, losing soldiers and generals. Ghost Concubine Yi stepped out from the black mist. Her somewhat ethereal spirit body bore obvious marks from being lashed by the corrupting, evil energy. Ah, it's Ghost Concubine Yi, the Ghost King. Since the battle at the Soul-Devouring Domain has just ended, would it be possible to lead the army to attack together tomorrow? Xiao Yin asked with a faint smile, furrowing his brow. I naturally trust your reputation, Lord Xiao, but since this is the Soul-Devouring Domain, please pass this message to Lord Fong as soon as possible. Many regions in the Ghost Realm have begun to counterattack, and it is the best opportunity to unite the army and strike down the 7th evil god. We can't afford to miss this chance. Ghost Concubine Yi smiled faintly, but her voice carried a rare hint of pride. No need. For now, the Soul-Devouring Domain is still under my command. In response, Xiao Yin smiled slightly. He raised his hand, and a small black rune, barely an inch long, flickered into existence. Soul-Devouring Talisman? Then, I will wait for Lord Xiao at the Soul-Devouring Fortress tomorrow at dusk. Goodbye. With those words, Ghost Concubine Yi disappeared once more into the dark void. Should we follow her? The Dragonblood Martial Emperor narrowed his eyes, looking with some hostility at the vanishing Ghost Concubine Yi. We can't trust the center of the Ghost Realm. These things should be done in secrecy. It's better not to have direct conflict with them on the surface. I want to see exactly what they're planning. Xiao Yin smiled faintly. So, what now? Yun Yun furrowed her brow, sensing several sharp auras emerging around them, and immediately asked, Call Senior Sister Hao here. The headquarters of the Soul-Devouring Domain still needs her to stay in command. Also, if anyone asks about Senior Brother Fong and the 6 senior members of the Xiao clan, just say they were captured by the extraterritorial forces. Xiao Yan's eyes were constantly shifting, seemingly contemplating the relationship between the Ghost Realm and the extraterritorial evil clan. For Xiao Yan and the others, this Ghost Realm war no longer seemed like a simple rescue operation. With the calamity at the Soul-Devouring Domain over, the vast Soul-Devouring Domain had once again returned to calm. Although the losses were heavy this time, with the deep foundation of the Soul-Devouring Domain, returning to normal was only a matter of time. Junior brother, there are some things you still need to keep an eye on and be cautious about. Near midnight, Senior Sister Hao and I temporarily passed on the various tasks within the Soul-Devouring Domain, gathering the core members, including Xiao Yin, for a meeting. Obviously, the only way to enter the headquarters of the Soul-Devouring Domain was through the Soul-Devouring Fortress. The fact that the extraterritorial army had occupied the headquarters without any defense certainly raised suspicions. The Soul Devourer had once mentioned that there might be another passage to the headquarters from the center of the Ghost Realm, but no one had ever verified its authenticity. Everyone here can be trusted, Senior Sister. Feel free to speak. Xiao Yin nodded slightly. With Yun and Mu Yingying by his side, there was no need for secrecy. There are many powerful beings hidden in the countless regions of the Ghost Realm. Now, these powerful beings are gradually taking action. The entire extraterritorial army has begun to retreat, showing clear signs of defeat. However, their army has mysteriously gathered toward the Ferocious Soul domain. You will need to be extra careful when you reach the Ferocious Soul domain. As for the specifics of other regions, I'm afraid we can only inquire with Ghost Concubine Yi at the soul-devouring fortress tomorrow. Xun'er furrowed her brows, clearly worried about Xiao and the others' journey tomorrow. Leave tomorrow's matters to us. Also, those strong figures who came with me should be able to reach our destination after we leave tomorrow. This sacred flame fire is enough to make them listen to our orders. To be on the safe side, please accept it, senior sister. As Xiao spoke, an orange-golden flame flickered gently in his palm, emitting a terrifying fluctuation that could be felt by all. Xun'er nodded gently, carefully accepting it, but her beautiful eyes still held a faint trace of worry. By the way, senior sister, where is the master? The soul-devouring domain is under attack. Why isn't the master in the domain? A moment later, Xiao spoke with a slightly serious tone. The 3 evil artifacts on the Devourer of Souls had already been distributed to his 3 disciples. Could it be that the master is not in the soul-devouring domain? Shortly after you left the Ghost Realm, the master, in pursuit of the path of reincarnation, distributed the evil artifacts to us. After that, he went on a journey, traveling the seas. However, these 3 evil artifacts each bear the master's life imprint. Now, since the master's life imprint is intact, there is no cause for concern. At this point, Xun'er couldn't help but shake her head, sighing. Here is the Blood River Bell and the soul-devouring talisman, now returned to their rightful owner. But senior brother Hong, Upon hearing this, Xiao exhaled heavily, his palm flipping, and 2 evil artifacts appeared. When mentioning senior brother Hong, his heart grew heavy. We know. Senior brothers are the pride of our soul-devouring domain. Xun'er gazed absently at the undamaged Blood River Bell and soul-devouring talisman, her expression tinged with sadness. Don't worry, senior sister. The master and senior brother Fong will definitely return safely. Xiao comforted her with a smile. I believe in you, junior brother. Xun'er looked at the calm and confident Xiao in front of her, nodding with a smile. This little junior brother, both in strength and leadership, surpassed her. He was truly a rare, exceptional figure. By the way, senior sister, I forgot to introduce you. These 2 are your 2 younger sisters-in-law. Xiao extended his hand toward Yun and Mu Yingying, but as soon as he finished the second half of his sentence, he quickly retracted his hand, scratching his head and chuckling awkwardly. 2 younger sisters-in-law? Xun'er was startled by Xiao words, turning her head with a strange expression to look at the 2 women standing quietly behind Xiao. These 2 women were elegant and unparalleled in their bearing, their beauty envied by all. No matter where they were placed, they were a peerless existence. Such extraordinary women. If it were her, she could never imagine sharing them with someone else. But these 2, judging by their appearance and demeanor, they were actually her junior brother's younger sisters-in-law? Greetings, senior sister. I am Mu Yingying. Greetings, senior sister. I am Yun. The 2 women were also shocked by Xiao words, but after a moment, they both gracefully bowed, exuding the air of noble ladies, and spoke in unison. Good. You mischievous boy. When did you marry such beautiful younger sisters-in-law, and you didn't even tell us? However, it seems you still owe us a wedding banquet. After a blink, Xun'er realized she had lost her composure, quickly regaining her calm demeanor. She teasingly looked at Xiao. Senior sister. Aren't you the same? Xiao pouted, looking somewhat innocent. At Xiao teasing, Xun'er couldn't help but smile, even a slight blush appearing on her cheeks. Don't worry. Once these troublesome matters are settled, I'll prepare the most extravagant wedding for you all. Only for the 5 of us. Instantly, Xiao Yin realized that there were still some important matters regarding the two women that had not been properly addressed. He walked over to Yun and Mu Yingying, taking each of their jade hands, and, with a serious and respectful tone, said, "All right, but it must be the most luxurious wedding in the entire Great Thousand Worlds. Xiao Yin, remember what you promised us? Never regret it." The two women spoke one after another, their faces calm but with a hint of joy and a soft, almost imperceptible sound of tears. Even their steady hearts were pounding with a strong beat. Flushed faces and racing hearts, the beautiful symbols of a young girl's awakening feelings. For noble young ladies who have yet to marry, it is essential to be properly wedded, and Xiao Yan's words had sealed their hearts with a firm, reassuring promise. Their choice had ultimately been the right one. The next day, as dark, dim light surged out from the soul-devouring domain, countless powerful figures were already standing in the grand hall of the soul-devouring domain headquarters. Xiao Yin, thank you for your help in this crisis of the soul-devouring domain. Us common folk don't understand much, nor do we have the strength like you. But as long as Lord Hao and I are, and you give the order, we'll follow, whether up the mountain of blades or into the sea of fire, without any complaints. Led by Bai Zhe, many powerful figures from the 7 great academies of the soul-devouring domain, including nearly 100 high-ranking protectors of the headquarters, willingly spoke to Xiao Yin. Their voices were loud and powerful, reverberating throughout the entire soul-devouring domain, leaving a deep, resonating feeling in everyone's hearts. You're all being too polite. I, Xiao Yin, am the 4th disciple of the Devourer of Souls. Now that I've returned to the soul-devouring domain, it's like returning home to visit the Master. Why should you all be so formal? Furthermore, my boundless fire domain has already become one with the soul-devouring domain. Xiao Yin suddenly stepped forward, and a majestic and resounding sacred sound echoed throughout the entire soul-devouring domain. One. The many elite warriors, who had been lurking in the high skies, burst with an incredibly terrifying gleam in their eyes, repeatedly echoing Xiao Yan's words. These are 90% of the elites we can muster from the soul-devouring domain. Hao and I's solemn voice slowly rang out. Senior sister, there are too many of them. 50% will be enough. Looking at the tens of thousands of elite troops in front of him, Xiao Yin felt a sense of shock. Since we are heading to the Ferocious Soul domain for a decisive battle, we cannot let the reputation of our soul-devouring domain be tarnished. Go. Have a safe journey, and we'll be waiting for your safe return. The people of the soul-devouring domain silently prayed as they watched Xiao Yin and the powerful ones rush toward the soul-devouring domain's fortress to join Ghost Concubine, preparing to launch a full-scale assault on the 7th evil god who resides in the Ferocious Soul domain. Countless powerful warriors of the soul-devouring domain prayed, hoping for victory in battle. Domain Lord Xiao is really punctual. When Xiao Yin and his group arrived in a mighty procession at the soul-devouring domain's fortress, a wave of eerie ghostly chi surged, and hundreds of ghostly figures emerged from the void, surrounding Ghost Concubine. Xiao Yin did not respond, but his gaze turned somewhat strange. The forces surrounding Ghost Concubine gave off an unfriendly aura. Since everything is ready, let's go. Ghost Concubine looked at the nearly 10,000-strong troops behind Xiao Yin with awe. Most of the people in this group were at the 5-star to 8-star Do Immortal level, with very few at the reincarnation stage. But there was a subtle, terrifying force that seemed to resonate within them, slowly emanating. Hold on. Before we leave, I would appreciate it if Ghost Concubine you would share any intelligence you have. Xiao Yin, Mu Yingying, and Yun stood at the front of the army. With their intelligence, they would never send such a massive force into certain death. Kid, don't be ungrateful. Ghost Concubine is a major figure from the heart of the ghost realm. How could someone like you, a mere domain lord of a small region, command her at will? Boom. In an instant, a ghostly figure with a mocking expression surged from beside Ghost Concubine and spoke rudely to Xiao Yin and his group. But before the figure could finish speaking, a blazing ripple of flame surged from the void behind Xiao Yin, resembling a holy and massive flame beast. The beast's mouth slightly opened, and a torrent of scorching power immediately obliterated the ghostly figure's body and soul. I casually squashed an annoying fly. Ghost King, you won't mind, right? Xiao Yin lightly clapped his hands, then cast a contemptuous look at the ghostly figure. This guy, he actually crushed a second-tier reincarnation stage expert so easily? Xiao Yan's actions undoubtedly shocked the hundreds of ghostly figures around Ghost Concubine Yi. Sigh, Domain Lord Xiao is absolutely right. My subordinate doesn't know any better. Ghost Concubine Yi smiled faintly, seemingly unaffected. She naturally knew that Xiao Yin was a tough nut to crack, so she never intended to command his massive army. Her only goal was to gather Xiao Yin and his group into the Ferocious Soul domain, nothing more. The rest would be handled by the two main and vice domain lords from the heart of the Ghost Realm. The 3 domains and 5 regions of the Ghost Realm. The soul-devouring domain has already been saved by Domain Lord Xiao, and the Ghost Abyss domain has received help from some extraordinary individuals from other worlds. The extraterritorial army was completely defeated, and now, the counterattack has slowly begun. As for the other 5 regions, they are now supported by important figures. The Lord of the Furnace's power has greatly increased, and the White Bone Elder and Cold-Blooded General have already gained considerable fame in the Ferocious Soul domain, occupying many strategic locations. They are advancing with their army, seemingly receiving reinforcement from some otherworldly experts. Currently, most of the Ghost Realm regions have turned danger into safety and are beginning their gradual counterattack. Ghost Concubine Ye's voice was faint as she shared this intelligence. After all, even she couldn't fully see through Xiao Yan's true power, so she didn't dare to be too brash. Since that's the case, let's set off. After hearing Ghost Concubine Yi, Xiao Yan had a plan forming in his mind. This time, the Ferocious Soul domain, even if it is a den of dragons and tigers, must be entered. Currently, the soul-devouring talisman and blood river bell are still in his possession, and combined with other methods, dealing with the 7th evil god would be no problem. However, the center of the Ghost Realm remains a source of great concern for Xiao Yan. Gather the army and march toward the Ferocious Soul domain. Ghost Concubine Yi also shouted in unison, her palms surging as she created a time-space wormhole in the void leading directly to the Ferocious Soul domain. Since the 7th evil god dares to come, then this domain lord is confident enough to leave him here forever. With a booming voice, accompanied by an elite army of tens of thousands, they slowly stepped into the time-space wormhole, heading toward the Ferocious Soul domain. In addition to the situation in the soul-devouring domain, in the Ghost Abyss domain, a powerful figure controlling the 4th evil artifact, the Sky-Slaying Sunstone, led an army toward the Ferocious Soul domain. Though this individual's cultivation was at the 3rd-tier reincarnation stage, when combined with the evil artifact, even a genuine 4th-tier reincarnation expert would find it difficult to resist. Having established countless feats in the Ghost Abyss domain, this individual had earned the recognition of many strong figures within the realm, and there were rumors of them becoming the next domain lord. The 10,000 Ghost Kingdom, on the other hand, was gathered under the command of Mu Feng, who used the Yin-Yang order to summon the 10,000 ghosts. Powerful figures like the Lord of the Returning Furnace were also formidable, and their strength should not be underestimated. It could be said without hesitation that the combined force this time would be difficult to handle even for the 7th evil god. At the center of the Ghost Realm, the Domain Lord spoke. The matter has been handled as you instructed. He paused, concern lacing his voice. But, I'm worried. At the intersection of countless territories in the Ghost Realm, amidst the dim, primordial emptiness, an eerie darkness lingered. The air was thick with sinister, pitch-black ghostly energy, creating a foreboding atmosphere. The void felt deathly still, with only 2 faint silhouettes hidden within the ghostly mist. What are you worried about? The Domain Lord's dark aura quivered slightly, and he responded nonchalantly. The Lord of Soul Devouring, Xiao Yin. These 2 may very well bring calamity. After a brief hesitation, the Vice Domain Lord in the Light Sphere voiced his concerns. They were currently engaged in a secret operation, one where failure was not an option. Don't worry. These two will help us deal with the seventh evil god, the Domain Lord replied. Although the seventh evil god is among the more intelligent of the extraterritorial evil gods, compared to us, he still falls short. Go ahead, and everything will proceed as usual. The Domain Lord seemed confident, a faint smile in his voice. Yes, Domain Lord. The Vice Domain Lord slowly disappeared. A long while passed before the surroundings fell into stillness again. Your Eminence, things have reached this point. What do you think we should do now? Only after the Vice Domain Lord vanished did the Ghost Realm's central Domain Lord step out from the swirling darkness. His vague and sinister features, combined with his slow, deliberate movement, were disturbing. He bent down and gazed toward the throne shrouded in ghostly energy. Xianming, you've done well, the Domain Lord said. Once this is over, I will tell you the way to the Ghost Realm's passage to the Netherworld. At that time, you can lead these powerful forces and armies into the Netherworld, and you'll establish your own domain. Not even the Great Thousand Worlds or the extraterritorial realms will be able to resist you. This will also help you escape the oncoming seventh reincarnation, Heavenly Tribulation. From behind the throne, a figure stepped out. He looked somewhat sinister, but if Xiao Yin or high-ranking officials from the Boundless Fire Domain were present, they would find the figure's face hauntingly familiar. Thank you, Your Eminence. As I have said, call me the Messenger of the Gods. Yes, the Messenger of the Gods. Dismissed. The moment Xianming was addressed, his body and soul trembled, as if a simple wave of the figure's hand could obliterate him. The godly power was terrifying beyond comprehension. Xianming left the Ghost Realm's center, and the area fell eerily quiet, as if it were a lifeless void. This skin is getting tired. Time for a new one. However, this nightmare fire and the technique to resurrect the dead are quite valuable. With a crackling sound, the man's body began to burn, white flames swirling around him, scorching the very air. The intense heat shook the entire realm. Wake up, Master! A heavy coffin descended, and with a burst of tremendous force, the lid was flung open. From within, several figures emerged, like walking corpses. Their aura was imposing. They were the original rulers of the Ferocious Soul Domain, the Soul-Devouring Domain, and the Ghost Abyss Domain, each at the sixth reincarnation stage. To think that the seventh evil god believes he can erode the Ghost Realm. DUNZ, such a thought is laughable. Tian UNZ, DUNZ, in this battle, the final victor will be me. I, the Messenger of the Gods, Ren UNZ. Soon, I will become the supreme ruler of this great thousand world, and even the extraterritorial realms will bow before me. The supreme god. Ha ha ha. The insane laughter echoed through the realm, a deep, resonant voice that caused a chill to run down the spine. And yet, the figure, seemingly mad, was slowly changing. The skin it wore was eerily familiar. It belonged to Hun Tianhao. In the Ferocious Soul Domain, black demonic energy wrapped around the vast region like thick, sticky liquid, enclosing the entire domain. In the tragic state of the Ferocious Soul Domain, there were still a few strange places that seemed unaffected by the invasion of this evil energy. On a gloomy mountain peak outside the 5 great academies, a large force of nearly 1,000 soldiers was stationed at this time. My lords, we still haven't found any news about Lord Xiao. However, within the 5 great academies, there have been several strong auras recently, slowly awakening like a giant dragon that has been in hibernation. This kind of power is putting some pressure on our army. What do you think? Inside the military command tent on the mountaintop, scouts, who were in charge of reconnaissance, continuously rushed in. What kind of aura? The 2 lords in the tent furrowed their brows upon hearing this. It seems to have an extraterritorial smell. The scout reported all the information they had gathered without missing a detail, waiting for orders from the 2 lords. Extraterritorial evil clan's aura? The extraterritorial experts occupying the 5 great academies are not to be underestimated. Before Lord Xiao arrives in the Ferocious Soul Domain, it's unwise to engage them head-on. We must preserve our force, which has considerable combat strength. Retreat. Retreat to the edge of the Ferocious Soul Domain. After exchanging glances, the White Bone Elder and the cold-blooded general issued commands, giving a series of orders. Although they were both strong in combat and experience, when facing the army of the seventh evil god from the extraterritorial evil clan, they still felt somewhat powerless. After all, the seventh evil god was formidable not only in power but also in other ways. These detestable creatures are indeed afraid of us. However, now is not the time for a direct clash. We should gather our forces quickly and head to the headquarters of the Ferocious Soul domain to support his evil flame majesty. As the elite 1,000-man team retreated, the void around the 5 great academies slightly distorted. Figures with gloomy expressions appeared in the sky, murmuring to each other. If Xiao or any senior from the Ferocious Soul Domain Temple were here, they would notice that these figures were all outstanding members from the 5 great academies. However, the power fluctuations on them now were devoid of any ghostly energy. The evil aura was unmistakably from the extraterritorial evil clan. In fact, a faint soul imprint flower bloomed in the center of their foreheads, emitting an endless evil aura. This fluctuation was likely due to the powerful individuals from the 5 great academies being affected by the soul control flower in the center of the ghost realm, turning them into mindless puppets controlled by the extraterritorial evil clan. But why had the ghost realm's soul control flower become such a powerful tool for the extraterritorial forces to dominate the Ferocious Soul domain? At this moment, a terrifying aura slowly rose from the 5 great academies and across countless territories of the Ferocious Soul domain. Figures, their faces twisted with madness and power, surged forward with overwhelming evil energy, hastening toward the Ferocious Soul domain. Even if countless powerful beings from the Ghost Realm gathered to counterattack, it would be difficult to resolve, as most of these individuals were originally from the Ferocious Soul domain. They had merely been controlled by the Soul Control Flower and infused with evil energy. Thus, a storm of bloodshed seemed to be slowly gearing up. In addition, although the 7 evil gods' army had occupied or even controlled numerous territories in the Ferocious Soul domain, there was still one area untouched, a piece of sacred land. That was the headquarters of the Ferocious Soul domain, its core location, the 4 Directions Divine Palace. The 4 Directions Divine Palace was currently in a state of extreme vigilance. The experts residing there, regardless of their status or power, were all subjected to thorough checks. The entire palace was enveloped by a thin green halo. No matter how the thick demonic energy surged and attacked, it seemed that when it touched the green halo, it would make a hissing sound, then dissipate into white mist, vanishing. The green halo was patterned with complex and profound designs, clearly imbued with a defiant life force. The array formed by this green halo was extremely powerful. However, as the demonic energy continued to corrode, it appeared that the entire formation was slowly retreating. It wouldn't be long before the array would gradually collapse, and the 4 Directions Divine Palace would eventually fall. At the very center of the 4 Directions Divine Palace, there was a vast altar. The altar was surrounded by numerous sinister engravings, forming an invisible gathering array that absorbed the celestial energies within the palace to resist the extraterritorial invasion. At this moment, there was no one else around the altar, except for a delicate-looking young girl who stood there, her palm constantly waving, constructing terrifying forces. A white dress, perfectly accentuating her graceful figure, gently swept the ground as a green aura radiated from a green rune in the girl's palm. The endless supply of energy flowed into the protective domain array. The green rune was one of the core inscriptions in a battle array master's technique. Yin, how are things going lately? At that moment, a rushed figure appeared on the altar, casting a glance at the petite girl in front of her with urgent eyes. Yun Qijie. The situation doesn't seem optimistic. The 7th evil god has halted his assault on the protective domain array. With my power, I can hold on for more than a month. But the 7th evil god has been quiet for several days, and I worry he has other plans. The girl's previously pure and beautiful face showed no signs of joy. Instead, it held an imposing, dignified expression, her sharp eyes seeming to see through the hearts of any strong opponent. The strongest battle array master of the Ferocious Soul domain, Yuan Yin. Though she was currently at the second-tier reincarnation stage, a level she only reached with the help of pills, inheritances, and other sources, her talent and mastery in battle arrays were unparalleled. After the seventh evil god conquered countless realms within the Ferocious Soul domain, he led an army to attack the Four Directions Divine Palace. Just when the Divine Palace seemed to be on the brink of collapse, Yun Qi and Yuan Yin appeared. One relying on the spiritual power of the spirit wandering realm and the other using the ancient life array, strong enough to counter even the near sixth-tier reincarnation stage forces, intercepting countless troops. They saved the last pure land of the Ferocious Soul domain. Sigh, this is just too difficult. Besides, after the seventh evil god began attacking the Divine Palace, Lord Duan Qifei and Thunderlord have vanished without a trace. Yun Qi's dark eyes relaxed as she looked at the ancient life array on the altar and the exhausted Yuan Yin, letting out a bitter smile. The two girls spoke calmly within the Divine Palace altar, their conversation touching on many sensitive matters, from the thoughts of a young girl to the secrets of the Ferocious Soul domain. Yun Qijia, do you regret it? In the next moment, Yuan Yin's small face tightened, staring seriously at Yun Qi and questioning her. I might regret it, but if I don't try, I'll probably feel guilty for the rest of my life. After all, this is the homeland we rely on to survive. I don't want to experience the days of losing everything, wandering homeless. Yun Qi spoke calmly, a faint smile on her lips as she answered without hesitation. Whether or not she had that mysterious power within her, she would stand up. The belief shared by every living soul in the ghost realm. Only be a soul beneath the blade, never a slave to a fallen kingdom. Your family members and some of the younger blood in the Ferocious Soul domain have secretly been moved. Even if we fail in the end, there will still be some bloodlines left. In that case, it's enough to honor the wishes of those lost ancestors. Yun Qijia, you don't need to worry. I will stay with you. Yin Yin is very strong now. Even if the ancient array is broken, I can still take many of them down with me. By the way, I really wonder how Xiao Yin is doing now. Back then, he also had the talent to be a battle array master. Now that I've grown into a battle array master who can stand on my own, I wonder if I can spar with him. While the two girls were talking on the altar, Yuan Yan's round, chubby cheeks seemed to stir with a mischievous, cute expression. She certainly didn't look like the legendary figure of the Ferocious Soul domain. The battle array master Yuan Yin, who single-handedly intercepted countless strong enemies from the extraterritorial realm. She appeared more like a playful neighbor girl. I don't know. But I have a feeling he'll come sooner or later. When Yun Qi heard Xiao Yan's name, her body trembled slightly, as if some ancient voice in her mind had stirred. Yun Qi herself only understood part of it. After all, her current peak strength in the first-tier reincarnation stage and the spiritual power of the near-spirit wandering realm were both guided by that voice within her. Matters like past lives, reincarnations, and cycles were mystifying, and Yun Qi herself found them hard to believe. But the power of that voice subtly made her feel that even the central realm lord of the ghost realm might not be comparable. How are you so sure, Yun Qijia? Could it be that you like Xiao Yin? You little brat, stop talking nonsense. I don't know. It's just that deep down in my mind, there seems to be some voice. It's like, I know Xiao Yin from a previous life? Previous life? Reincarnation? How mysterious. The two girls gazed at the ancient life array that protected the last pure land, enjoying a rare moment of lightheartedness. Boom. But the peaceful moment didn't last long. Soon, a sharp sound of wind tearing through the air came from the altar's surroundings. Masters, bad news. We just discovered the traces of Thunderlord and Lord Duan. But before we could act, extraterritorial experts got there first. Now, the seventh evil god, along with several elite warriors, is heading there at full speed. The sound of wind splitting the air faded, and a figure stepped out of the shadows, a man with a solemn expression. He was a member of the Ferocious Soul Guards, responsible for intelligence in the Ferocious Soul domain, and his voice was sharp and commanding. Move. No, you must stay here. Only with your battle array master abilities can you hold off the extraterritorial forces. If the Four Directions Divine Palace falls, this last sanctuary will also turn into hell, and the consequences will be unthinkable. Ferocious Soul Guards, assemble the 2 palace lords of the 4 divine palaces and several elites. Come with me. As he spoke, Yunqi swiftly moved with a grave expression, his resolve evident. Damn. Even with the strength of the 2 palace lords, they aren't enough to resist the 7th evil god. Looking at Yunqi hurriedly leaving, Yuan Yin pinched her own cheek, realizing that all she could do now was to protect this last sanctuary with all her might. No matter what, she wouldn't allow these enemies to take another step forward. Boom. Under the vast Ferocious Soul domain, a massive tear suddenly appeared in the dark, oppressive void, and a huge army silently poured in. What a sinister and poisonous force. As soon as they arrived, even Mu Yingying and Yun Yun, with their formidable senses, felt a slight tension in the air that had been tainted by something strange. This area is mixed with a special substance. Yingying, try to contact our people. 2 armies have gathered. This should be enough to form a considerable force. Sacred flame radiated from Xiao Yan's body, instantly purging the corrupt evil energy in the area. Mu Yingying nodded slightly, then closed her eyes in concentration, using unique marking techniques from the Boundless Fire domain to search for traces left by the White Bone Elder. Ghost Concubine Yi, why are you late? The group stood quietly on the ground, waiting for Xiao Yan's lead. Suddenly, a wave of dark ghostly energy with a questioning aura surged toward them. Lord Heavenly Ghost, we were ambushed in the Devouring Soul domain. Fortunately, Lord Xiao arrived in time to rescue us. That wasted quite a bit of time. Ghost Concubine Yi flashed a grin before speaking. Among the 10 great ghost kings at the center of the ghost realm, there were those who stood out, and the so-called Lord Heavenly Ghost was undoubtedly one of the top 3. His strength and presence were enough to make others cower. With the power of the 4th reincarnation stage, he exuded an intimidating aura. So, this is the Lord of the Boundless Fire domain? Truly remarkable, as expected. The Vice Realm Lord and the generals are already waiting at the Ferocious Soul mountain ridge. They're just waiting for the Devouring Soul domain forces to arrive so we can discuss the next steps. We'll discuss matters regarding the 7th evil god of the extraterritorial realm. Lord Xiao, please. Lord Heavenly Ghost smiled with narrowed eyes, awaiting the final arrival of Xiao Yin. The gathering of many powerful beings in the Ferocious Soul domain was the greatest effort the 10 Ghost Kings could muster. The rest of the matters were left to the Vice Realm Lord and others to handle. Whom. Just as Xiao Yin was about to move with the others, the previously quiet Thunder Emperor's Sacred Codex suddenly released a series of terrifying thunderous rays, continuously assaulting Xiao Yan's Soul Sea and Spirit Palace. It felt as if it was trying to pull his body towards some unknown void. Boom! A violent surge of thunderous energy burst from Xiao Yan's body, and a low growl echoed through the heavens and earth. The terrifying sound made both Lord Heavenly Ghost and Ghost Concubine Yi flinch slightly. The force was simply too overwhelming. Xiao Yin, are you all right? The 2 women's eyes narrowed, a sense of caution rising within them as the immense power of reincarnation began to stir. Yingying, Xun'er, the 2 armies have gathered. Everything here is in your hands now. I have urgent matters. I'll take my leave first. After speaking, Xiao Yan's body shot through the void like lightning, seemingly heading toward the depths of the Ferocious Soul domain. The destructive fluctuations emitted by the Thunder Emperor's Sacred Codex were clearly a distress signal. There were only 2 people in the entire Great Thousand Worlds who could trigger such a strange resonance with the Thunder Emperor's Sacred Codex. The Thunder Lord and Duan Qifei, who bore the Thunder Lord's reincarnation seal. It seemed these 2 powerful beings were now facing an unprecedented crisis.